Okay, let's try this again. What is supposed to happen at the first is that you will have your body on the risers, especially if you have a large group, and I would strongly suggest that anyway, that they are already on the stage and they can be standing, sitting, whatever, just kind of in a relaxed sort of thing, but they're just still, they're very still. And then you will have your first instrument, your first pan come on, and this is the sequence that happens at first, and then you'll have two others enter in just a minute, and I'll play that. So I'm going to try and talk quietly. You will not hear the counting. I'm going to do it so that you kind of have an idea of how this is going to go on. But it will start with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. That's all he does at first, just those two things, but he will continue to play, and then these other pans will enter the stage. So here's his next sequence. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So now there's two pans on the stage. The third sequence goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So that happens for 3. Then the stompers will come in, and like I said, they could be standing, sitting, whatever they're supposed to do. They will do this for 2 counts of 8, so it'll be 2 full counts of 8 of this pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. One more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Okay, that's it for that sequence, and then I'll tell you what happens next. Pardon me while I read to you. Following that sequence, the 2 counts of 8 with that, then there will be something, and I would prefer not to say 5, 6, 7, 8, or 5, 6, 7, 8. I would prefer the conductor to do something like, do something that would lead them into their 64 or 80 counts. And I've got 80 written down here. But the pans will continue while the stompers are doing their 80 counts. They will, and they just continue with their sequence of 1, 2, 3, blank, while the stompers are doing their thing. When the 80 counts is over and it ends with yeah, which is an indication that they are done, the pans in the body will play their sequence for 2 more counts of 8. So that. While they're doing that, the orchestra will come on. David and I were talking about this, and it would just be, that's why I called it an orchestra, because in fact that's what it will be. It'll be better if they are all on the stage without having to enter, but they're all there, and then we are actually going to, I'm recommending anyway, that they play their instruments in sections of duets. And so, for example, I would probably have, like what we did before, if they were to enter, this group enters from this side, this group enters from this side, but instead they'll all be on the stage, but in opposite places. So boomwhackers are next, is what I have, and then basketballs are next, but they actually will play their sequences together. So instead of a solo, it's a duet, but all the other instruments are on the stage. I think that gives us an idea right now, through the 80 counts, and now I'm going to play each one of the instruments just to give you the rhythm in case there's any kind of a mistake, and certainly change the rhythm if you don't like it. I'm hoping to have some company here in a minute. Heather has volunteered to come and help me. So this is the boom whackers rhythm that I have, and I chose to just hit them here. Now you can do them up here, or, you know, and I actually think it would be good to move it around a little bit and for these instruments so that they're not so rigid, okay? So here is the rhythm for it. Then we'll play the basketballs, and then I want to show you how they would go together, which you probably don't care, but anyway. So here it is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the 5 and 6, 7 and the 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 8. Okay, so they do 2 counts of 8 with the basketballs. So there was the boom whackers. Now we'll do basketballs. Okay, so here's the basketballs, and again, it will be with the boom backers, and 2 counts of 8. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Now, the reason I decided to choose 2 hands is because if kids are not, and you may have some that can do this, as you can see, I'm excellent at it, but I don't want a ball escaping, and so I